Been talking to Sammy Wilson, who is the Brexit spokesman for the DUP. What does he want to hear from the candidates today?
Well, what we've heard so far, we're very pleased about. First of all, they have said that the current agreement is not going to work. They have both said that they are committed to the union. And thirdly, they're both saying that we will leave on the 31st of October. And I think that that's important to send that message out to the EU negotiators that the days of ambivalence and ambiguous deadlines, etc., are over, and they've got to get serious.
But there is a danger for you in that, isn't there? If Britain leaves on the 31st of October without a deal, then that surely would lead to a hard border on the island of Ireland, and you don't want that.
Well, you know, we have contested this. We believe that you can still collect taxes, if there are taxes to be collected, without a hard border. You can still make sure that there's regulatory compliance, because we do that at present. And indeed, a lot of what we've been told about leaving without a deal and the impact on the border is really just a red herring.
Well, it may or may not be a red herring, but it matters to Brussels, and they are absolutely adamant that there will be no change to the withdrawal agreement, and that includes the border arrangements.
Yeah, and there are other things which matter to Brussels as well. They need money from the United Kingdom because they have their own budgetary problems. They need to have access to the United Kingdom market, and they need the continued cooperation which they have with the United Kingdom on a whole range of things, including security and intelligence, etc. And I think it's good, actually, that some of the civil servants who were involved in the negotiations before are now standing down, and maybe a clean team will get the message over to Brussels.
Right, but when we talk the EU, we're talking about 27 other countries. In the case of Northern Ireland, it is Northern Ireland that would suffer specifically.
I don't agree that Northern Ireland is likely to suffer disproportionately. I don't think that anybody can say that there won't be some turbulence in the case of a no deal. But don't forget the Irish economy, which is hugely dependent on the UK market for a lot of its agricultural product. They equally have got an incentive to ensure that the situation which you're describing does not pertain and that normality is restored as quickly as possible.
Well, but on the other hand, the Taoiseach has made it pretty clear that he's not going to give.
He has, and I think he has done that in the face of a weak UK negotiating team. Don't forget, during my time in the Northern Ireland Executive and during the period since the Belfast Agreement, we've had to negotiate with Dublin time and time again. And the one thing I do know is that once Dublin knows that you mean what you say and say what you mean, then I think that you sometimes find that there's a different attitude. And Leo Varadkar's view on how Brexit should be negotiated is not a unanimous view in the Republic. There are many people in the Republic who are now thinking that Ireland has perhaps overstretched itself, overstated its case, and that stance could damage the Irish economy. I think that that will put immense pressure on Leo Varadkar to look at a different attitude. What we'll be saying to both candidates is, look, we know the Irish. If you vacillate, they'll push you around. If you stand up to them, they will start to take you seriously.
Sammy Wilson, thank you.